This conference will now be recorded.
So good morning team in this Databricks Data Engineer Master Program. So in today's session we will talk about dbutils secrets, mount blob storage with key vaults. Okay. So we will learn quick recap of yesterday mount point using access key vault service, secret scope, introduction to the blob storage SaaS key, introduction to DB utilities, secret commands. Yesterday we talked about what commands? Yesterday which commands we discussed, team?
uh, dbutils file system commands.
File system commands. Okay, today we are going to talk about secret commands. So mount point advantages already we discussed. Connect to blob from Databricks using Key Vault. So today we will be using Key Vault. I told you yesterday we should not hard code anything in the Databricks. We should use the Key Vault for integration. Okay, we must have to secure our credentials using the Key Vault. So how we will connect to the Key Vault from Databricks, how we can access the keys securely, we will discuss. Create a mount point, create data from blob csv file, writing data frame data to a csv file, prerequisite required resources we will discuss. So what is Key Vault? Azure Key Vault is a cloud based service which is designed to protect sensitive information like the keys, passwords, any certificates and other secrets. It provides a highly secured and managed environment for storing and accessing these secrets, because whatever sensitive information that you are keeping in the key vault, that secured information will be encrypted by some default keys. But if you want to encrypt with your own keys, you can also encrypt with your own keys. I'll show you that. Okay. So key value pair. Whenever you are storing the some sensitive information in the key vault, you must have to have a key and value. Value is going to be the sensitive information. Key is the one which is used for identifying what is the sensitive data that you have stored, because within the key vault you can store database password, storage password, data warehouse password. So you need some identity to identify, okay, this is a database password, this is a data warehouse password, right? That's how key is basically for identification purpose. Value is the sensitive information. You can see secrets are stored as a key value pairs, where the key is a human readable name that identifies the sensitive information, whereas value is the actual secret material. Secrets are unique in AKV, meaning for example you created some key with db-password. So another password you can't store with the same name db-password. You must have to maintain a uniqueness within the Azure keyword. So this is how the Azure keyword will look like once you see here. Here, this is the place where you can store your sensitive information. So if you want to use a different keys for encryption, you can generate those keys here. But we generally go with the default keys that Microsoft maintains, using which we will be encrypting the sensitive information that we are storing here. Okay, so permissions and all we can able to grant it through the access control IAM, who can access the sensitive information from key vault. Okay, who is eligible to read the sensitive data that you stored here, those people should be added into the access control IAM. Okay, you need to grant the access to the key vault. For example, today Databricks should read the sensitive information, so you will be giving the Databricks in the access control. Clear, team? All of you clear till here? Now, secret scope, the logical grouping mechanism for secrets. All secrets belongs to a scope. Scopes are identifiable by name and are unique per user's workspace. So it is just it is telling, in order to connect to the keyword from the Databricks, we will create a something called scope. You can use the single scope to access all the secrets. Scope is nothing but a connection. You can use a single connection to read all the secrets. Now, how to create this scope is in the Databricks URL, you need to add this part hash secrets slash create scope. This part you need to add. Once you add this particular part, you can able to once you add this particular part, you can able to create the scope. I'll show you everything today. So when you are creating, you need to give the first key vault name, connection name, sorry, not key vault name, connection name. Who can use this connection? Only creator or all users in workspace? All users you can select. Here you need to give key vault name. Here you need to give key vault address, in which subscription, in which resource group, where exactly this key vault is available. Those details you need to give it here. Okay, clear all of you? Everybody's clear on this? Fine. Now let's talk about introduction to dbutils commands. Utilities are available in Python, R, and Scala notebooks as we discussed. You can use the utilities to provide a secure way to manage and access sensitive information within a notebook. You can use utilities to work with the file system commands. Yesterday we have done. So next session we will talk about parameters, how to call one notebook from another notebook. But for today we are using the utility commands to secure way to manage and access sensitive information within the notebooks. For that we will use the utility commands today. Okay, db utility secret commands we will be using today. So secret commands are total 4 will be there, but you only use only the first one. Other things you don't require, but I'll still explain what are those. Okay. Azure Blob Storage, it is object storage for the cloud. It is optimized for storing massive amount of unstructured data. So yesterday we have used a access key from here in the Blob Storage to connect to the Blob from Databricks. But today I'll use something called shared access signature. What is the difference? If you use access keys, by default we get complete access on the storage account. That is not recommended. That's why we go for storage shared access signature. In short form, this is called a SAS. SAS means S means shared, A means access, S means signature. SAS means SAS. Okay. So this SAS, when you generate, it will tell you what level of access you want. You want only read access, you want write access, you want only to folders, you want till the files. So what exactly you want to give access, you can grant it. Okay, once you grant it, this is the code that you need to use to create the mount points for using this SAS key. So once you use this particular syntax, so you can see what things same folder name, storage name, one container name again repeated here. Here you need to use the your SAS token, whatever you are seeing here, right? This SAS token, you will store it in the key vault. From key vault, you will read it into this notebook. Clear all of you? Are we
Yes.
good? Okay. So this is the mount point code that we can reuse today. And unmount means you can able to remove the connection. So importance of the mount point is all users of that particular cluster can use immediately. Other people who are using other clusters can able to still use by using the refresh mode. And once you create this mount point in Python, it will be available in all clusters, all notebooks, in all languages. So overview diagram, if you see, I'll create a blob storage. I'll keep some data in the blob storage. Then blob storage key, SAS key, I'll take and store it in the key vault. From Databricks, I'll connect to the key vault, take the keys. Okay, I'll take the key and I'll establish the connection. Once I establish the connection, I can able to read the data, I can able to write the data. Okay. So what I'm doing, I'm taking the Azure Key Vault key, and using that key I am connecting to the blob storage. Once I connected, I am going to read and write the data from the blob. I'll come back to this diagram once again. So yesterday we have discussed you can just give the Spark session using which you are reading as a CSV file from this location. That's it. While writing two things, you can take the data frame that you read, you can write it in the overwrite mode in CSV in this location. Similarly, take the data frame, write it in the append mode in this format in this location. That's it. Overwrite and append. Overwrite remove existing data, writes new data. Append means it will keep adding the new data to existing data. Prerequisites, we need Azure Databricks, Azure Blob Storage, Azure Key Vault for today lab. Required resources are Blob Storage, Databricks, Key Vault. Okay, so assignment I'll tell you. So let's quickly go and create these three things from the Azure portal.azure.com. So first I'll create a Azure Databricks because it takes some time to create Azure Databricks. So I'll create one resource group cloud pandit-dev-rg. Click OK. So workspace name cloud pandit-dev-adb workspace. Click review plus create. Click create. Come to second tab portal.azure.com. So Databricks I created. Click on storage account. Let's create a one blob storage now. Click review plus create. Click create. So come to the third tab. Let's create a keyword stream. Go to keywords. Click on create keywords. So resource group is this. Keyword name is cloud pandit dev iphone cloud pandit dev akv 1204. Okay, so same subscription, resource group, keyword name you need to give in which location you need. That's it. Click review plus create. Click create. So now Databricks is creating and blob is created. Keyword is almost ready. Now let's go back to the diagram. As per this diagram we will see. Okay, so this is the diagram, right? Now you see, first I'll go to blob storage. I'll create some container and I'll upload some data. Okay, let's see now how we can do that. Go to resource. This is the first blob I'm taking. 1 second, I'm just thinking, you should not confuse. Yeah, so what you can do is there are some prerequisites. So first step is what? Step one is you created a blob, Databricks and a keyword. Okay, first step is create everything. Second step is go to Databricks. So we will go to the diagram, but first you do the prerequisites. That is, first you create everything, then you go to Databricks. In the Databricks, I told you many times, when you log in into Databricks, you need to do two things. What are those two things? Generally, create a cluster is one. Second one is create compute, single node cluster, and the node type I'm going to use is general purpose. Okay, it should be active for 30 minutes of inactivity. Click create compute. Okay, so it is creating. Step 1 is completed. What is the second step? Click on new, create a notebook. Two things. Okay, create a cluster and create the notebook. '70 batch notebook 003. Okay, so this is the notebook name I am giving. So here what you need to understand, so notebook and cluster is ready. Now blob side you no need to do anything. Databricks side you have done cluster creation notebook. Come to Key Vault. Now you also need to tell something to the Key Vault, that is, hey Key Vault, whatever sensitive data that I'm keeping in the Key Vault, you allow only these people to access. You allow only these people to access. How you will tell that? Go to access control IAM, add role assignment. Here we need a full control. That's why I'll be using a Key Vault administrator. Performs all data plane operations, including the reading, writing, anything, certificates, keys, anything. Okay, click next. Select members. Here Databricks is accessing, but using which ID? So that ID is also you need to give here my ID. Okay, so cloudpandit@gmail.com. So this is the same ID I have given here. And then Azure Databricks, which is a generic name. It is not same name which we have given for the Databricks. This is a generic application. So you want to allow all Azure Databricks to access this particular Key Vault using this ID, because you can't control to a particular Databricks, something like that at this moment. Click review plus assign, review plus assign. Okay, once that is done, step 2 is completed. Step 1 you created everything. Step 2, created a cluster notebook in Databricks, added the required permission in the keyword. Now let's start the this one. First I'll go and create some folder and upload some data in the blob storage. Okay, let's go to blob, go to data storage, click on containers, click on container team. So this is basically a global container I am creating. Inside global container, now click on upload, browse for files. Now let's say I'll take credit weekly, but I will upload under a input folder. Okay, click upload. So under input folder I uploaded this file. Okay, done. Next, what is the next step tip? You need to take a blob storage key and you need to store it in the Key Vault. So first let me take the key from blob storage. So yesterday we were using the access key, but today we are not going to use the access key. Instead we are going to use a shared access signature. So here you can see you want only blob. So entire blob service, all containers, in the container, all objects I want to give read, write, delete, full permission. But if you want to disable something, you can just, you don't want to allow delete, you can uncheck this. So that's how you can control the permissions. But currently for full permissions I'm granting on all the objects. And you can also access keys will be there permanently if you're not rotating. How to rotate the access key? Let me, oh shit. How to rotate the access key is very simple. You see something called rotate key. So if you click on this, key will be regenerated. New key will come here. See, key changed. Similarly, if you come to shared access signature, here there is a limit. There is a limit till what time this should be active. But access key is permanent access will be there. For example, if someone you want to give 6 hours of access for some testing, you can just use the shared access signature, put some six hours of time, and you can give them access to only 6 hours. After that you don't need to do anything. This key will be expired after the 6 hours. But if you want to keep it 3 months, 6 months also, you can do it. In this, we need a SAS token. This is the token that we need. So what I'll do, I'll just copy this token. Go to Key Vault, correct? We need to go to Key Vault. As I mentioned while explaining slides, under objects, we'll have a secrets. Click on secrets. Click on generate slash import. Here, the key you need to give. Blob SAS key is the key, and actual value I am putting here. Okay. Now, when this should be expired, there is no activation time, there is no end time. This should be active all the time. Click create. Okay, key is created. Now we are able to store the SAS key in the key vault. Now from Databricks, I want to connect to the key vault. How to connect? Let me show you. Go to Databricks. Very carefully observe. After .NET, whatever is there, you remove everything. Add a something called secrets slash create scope. S is uppercase. S is uppercase. Okay. Scope name. Scope name is AKV connection. Azure Key Vault connection. I am saying anything you can give. Okay. So it should be accessible for all the users in the Databricks workspace. DNS name. If you come here in the Key Vault, if you come down settings, properties, you will have a value URI. This is the URI of the Key Vault. Put that URI here. Next to resource ID, come here. This is the resource ID, right? Copy this resource ID, put that resource ID here. Okay, then click on create resource ID. Click OK. Okay, now click on this notebook. Okay, so there is a secret which we have here. Sorry, we created a connection. But what is the connection name we have given to him? What is the connection name we have given?
Connection.
You forgot. Let's say you forgot how to get it. Let's see. Connect to this. Now you need to use a dbutils.help. Execute this. Okay. So in this, today we are talking about a secrets. dbutils.secrets.help. Now you ask what you can do on the secrets. Okay. Now you see it is clearly saying list scopes, meaning all connections it is going to give you. List scopes. Execute this. So AKV connection is the list scopes. Next. Now list. Here you need to give AKV connection. So list is going to list down the all the sensitive data that you have stored. See, blob SAS key is the only one you have stored. For example, you go back to secrets. So just I am storing. It is not real password, but let's say database password. I'm storing some password here. Okay, something like this. You can able to create it. Once you create this secret, if you now ask list, it will give you 2. So that's how all the secrets that you stored you can able to list down using this connection. If you forget the connection, you can use the list scopes to get the connection. Okay, now you have to use only the method called get. Okay, get to bytes and get, if you see the body is same, but only thing is the actual SAS value it will written in the bytes, but we don't want to written it in the bytes, we want it in the plain text. So that's why you need to use this particular command. dbutils dot secrets dot get. So here connection, so scope is nothing but a connection, and key is nothing but a, let's say, blob as key I want to read. So this is how you can read it. Now this is called a blob. This is called a blob key. So if you just print the blob key, so redacted, it is not going to show you the actual password. Instead, it will just show you the blob key. It is going to show you the blob key. Clear, all of you? Everybody's clear, team?
Yeah.
Now we want to use this particular blob key to create the mount point for my blob storage. So what I will do, I'll just quickly copy this code from here. You can copy this code, put that code here. dbutils.fs.mount was be as container name. What is the container that we have in the storage account? What is the container we created, team? Global. Give that global here. What is the storage name? This is a storage name. Copy this. Put that storage account name here. Here. Next. So dbutils.secrets.this. Instead of that, you just have to use this. Understood? dbutils.secrets.get AKV connection key equal to blob SAS key. Are we all good till here? Now, before I create a mount point, I want to see the existing mount points. How to see the existing mount points, Tim?
dbutils.fs.mounts.
dbutils.fs.mounts.
Mounts.
So, do we have anything called mnt/global? Do we have anything called mnt/global? No, right? So, you can give the mnt/global. Let's create a mount point now. Okay. Now, dbutils.fs.mounts. Okay. So, Databricks mnt/global. Okay, /mnt/global. So there is a mount point which is created. Okay, now, so what I will be doing now, I am successfully able to display here, right? I am successfully able to display the things here. Now I want to read the data. How to list down the content of this particular container, team? Global container. How to see the content of that global container? What is the command we need to use to see that?
Is it dbutils.fs.ls?
Correct. dbutils.fs.ls, you need to use mnt/global. Just execute this. See, it is giving the input folder is there. So inside input folder, let's see now what is there. You have a weekly file you have. Correct? So now I want to know the content of this file. So there are two ways I told you. Tell me at least one way to see the content of this file.
Using head.
Very good. Head. Tell me full command.
dbutils.fs.head.
Head. Okay, you just have to give the full path of it. So anybody can give me the second way, team? This is the first way. You can print it. to see the data in proper structure. But tell me the second way to read the same content of this file.
Using the Dataframe.
So spark dot read dot format of. So if you think that and all difficult, you can just give spark dot read dot, okay, CSV. You just have to give dbfs this. So now just to show the data, spark dot read dot CSV. Using Spark session, I am reading the CSV file in this location from this location. Different ways you can read. See, but there are headers. But you did not say that there are headers. So to say that there are headers in my file, header equal to true, you need to say. When you say header equal to true, now headers are set and the data is properly displayed. So if you have very huge file, you need to read this way. If it is a small file, you can able to read data using the head command. Now, so I have this data. Now this data, instead of showing directly, I want to assign to some variable called data frame. To that data frame I want to display. You can simply do, you will get the this way. Okay. So now if you see, what is the difference between show and the display? Correct. When I have shown, see, for example, I'll show you once again. df.show I am using. When I use df.show team, so you don't have any option to do anything here, right? But if you see here, when I use display, the first option that I have is you can download this result. Tomorrow I will ask the questions how to download the results and all. Okay, you need to answer it. To download the results, you need to use the display action. You need to tell display action. Okay, you can download this result is the one thing. Second thing is, you can also create some visualization. Click on visualization. So for example, I want to get x-axis is, let's say, credit type, and y-axis is credit scores. The problem is here, so same values are there, that's the problem. You can give by credit name. So by credit name, okay, here one problem I see. The problem is these all are the string data types. That's why I am not able to do much reporting. Let me ask Spark, hey Spark, scan the data, take the data types properly. Info schema equal to true. Now you see it is a number. It is a number is coming. Now if you go to visualization, click on visualization. Now you can just say credit name. Now y-axis, sum of credit scores. So now you see different credit score. Cloud Pandit 1.96k, Krishna 2.28, Rama 2.01, Sai 2.01, Shiva 2.28, 2.48k. Okay, so that's how you can able to do the by credit name and y-axis sum of credit scores I am going to display. Not only this, if you want a different graph pie chart, you can just do that. Okay, nicely you can see, right? If you want whatever you want, so histogram, I think this is not relevant, but you can just still have to choose these columns again. See, it's just going down, up and down like this. Bar graph we already discussed, line, okay, going down, up, and so on. So that's how you can able to create the visualization as well from this result. If you use a display, as of now we discussed two advantages. One is you can download result. Second thing is you can also create the reports on top of it. Okay, there are some other differences that I'll discuss later on. Now take this data frame result. I want to add one new column. So how to add a new column to the data frame is using the with column. You will add a new column, the with column. So what is the column that I want to add is created on timestamp. When this is created, that timestamp. So this timestamp should be parameterized. So that's why you see it is clearly saying current timestamp. You can able to see it is giving intelligence, because I don't remember those things. See here, automatic assistance autocomplete. So as this is checked, it is telling you, hey, created on TS means you want timestamp. So it is just given this. But timestamp showing error. The reason is it is a Spark function. You need to import it. Okay. Current underscore timestamp. So now that error is gone. Now I'll say this is a data frame one. I'll assign to the another data frame called data frame one. Now you see automatically, you see when I keep the cursor, it is saying display of df user wants. Okay, intelligence. Now you see created on TS, it is just generated time in the UTC. Now take the data frame one that I want to write it into the target df1, that write it in the mode is overwrite. Okay, so in which format you want to write? Format is, let's say, CSV. Save. You like when you say CSV, you also have to say you want to write with the headers. Yes, please write with headers, header comma true, write with headers. Save into which location? mnt slash global is the mount point. Under mount point output folder I want to create. Under that I want to create the, I want to write my data. Okay, so data is now written into the blob storage. If you come here, go inside global, click on the output folder, so you can see the data. But what are these files? Commit file will have a information about in which file actually the data is available. That information will be there in the commit file. See, in this file you have a data, your entire data is available in a single file. So this is the file. Let's click on this file and see whether you have data or not. Yes. So started says when you run some job to write the data, when the job is started, it will create this file. Job is started. It is empty file. Nothing will be there. Similarly, success file will be created. This is also empty. If that started transaction is successful, it will create a success file. But these all are not at all required for you. You only need to worry about this part file. These all are the metadata files. Okay. Yeah. Now tell me if you have any questions still here, Tim, before we move on further.
Yeah, when we do that infer schema, so it is trying to give the this one, right? Data types, proper data
Correct.
types.
Correct.
Okay. So if we not give them, then it will consider all of the columns will be as a string.
String. Excellent. Correct.
Okay, got it. And the data frames. So till here, okay. So the df.spark.read, these are all PySpark commands, right?
Yes.
Or
Correct.
because I had a confusion earlier. What are the PySpark commands and what are the normal commands? So
Yeah,
using
this is
like
Spark.
if you write Spark, then it is a PySpark command something
Correct.
because we are creating a session.
Yes.
Okay.
You need to think about data frame. See here, it says pyspark.sql.dataframe.dataframe.dataframe. This is what you need to focus, because tomorrow if somebody is using this df, but here you don't have any Spark, I have not used anything, but it doesn't mean that it is not a Spark code. Here you need to see pyspark.sql.dataframe.dataframe. Okay. Next.
Okay. Here we'll not get the help option like for data frames like you have before we had
I
right
told
dot
you,
help.
right, multiple ways to find the way, like get the code. See, one is, for example, when you say df dot, so you know with the column, so immediately it will say C with the column. So when you say with the column and the parenthesis is open, it is staying saying. So you can put a column and you can use the function to generate something like this. But let's say you don't know something. Now I want to, let's say I'll just click on this and I'll say add created by user column to df and add user as Databricks. So I'll just say this, ask to generate. It will generate the code. This is the code that I need. Just accept it.
Okay.
Understood?
Yeah.
So that's how also you can able to get it, the things. The function is also imported what is required. And if you just execute it, on top of the data frames they created by user, Databricks is added. You can simply use now AI assistance for identifying this, but in some projects, everybody please go mute. Who is this waiting for now? Saurabh, go mute, please. Because if you do these kind of things, we will miss the flow. What we are discussing here. So it has given the AI, right? So this Databricks is given. This hard coded value it has given. So you can able to get it this way. So what I was trying to tell you is, some organizations will disable this toggle assistant. The reason is sometimes business like developers what they generally do is they'll put their values here and says use this data and convert into JSON format, something like this, right? So what happens in this cases is their business data you are submitting on the AI. So you know, right, how AI will work, Tim? How many of you aware how AI will work? You know what happens when you submit this data, you know, or you don't know?
Yeah, it's storing somewhere and it will give the insight to some other people.
Exactly. Storing means it will train again with this data. AI will train with this data again and it will try to project same data to somewhere else. So that's why in some projects this particular AI will be disabled for this particular reason. Okay. So you need to understand where they will disable this. When they disable it, you can still come back and you can just search it somewhere wherever you have access. If you don't have access, so you have to find out. So in such cases, what you will do, you give some sample data in your personal laptop and you need to search it and find the logic. And you have to type it here if something is not allowed. That's it. Okay. Clear all of you till
It's
here? Yeah, tell me.
yeah, it's also a paid feature, right? The Copilot and this generative this thing over
This is
Databricks.
part of no, this is part of the data break. So there is no special charges for this for currently. Okay. But
That
Copilot
with
are charging separately, but here it is free. Next, tell me.
Yeah, so that with column we have used, so it has appended at the last. So if we have a option to append at the first or middle, do you have like that?
No, you don't have to really worry about where it is appending. When you are writing the data to the target, if it is a table, it will match the columns and it will write. If your table in the
So
table created by user is at the first, it will just write it at the first column only. In whatever
uh,
order doesn't matter. Hold on. I am explaining. You are not able to hold for a minute.
sorry, yeah.
Complete. Let me complete it. So here, if you really wanted to order something, you have an option. So created by user, and you can choose it. Credit underscore ID, card type. Okay. So in what order you want, you can still select it. Okay. What I'm saying is, you really not required to select all these things and order it, because that is this ordering of columns is not that much important. But if you still have some requirement to do, you can select in same order, in which order you want. Okay. Tell me now.
No, why I ask, because suppose we are dumping into Snowflake tables these
Hmm.
values and the columns should be in the order, right? While
That's what I'm
no.
saying. It doesn't matter. So data frame is capable enough to match the columns based on the column names, because whatever columns in the data frame, columns in the table, you have to match it. Otherwise, it will not write it. So when you
Okay,
match the columns in the table and data frame, so in which order it is doesn't matter. It just match the column and write it into that particular column.
okay, got it.
Any other questions, Tim?
Yeah, I have one small question. So actually,
Hmm.
regarding we are storing the password credential to that key wallet, right? From there, we are
Correct.
retrieving and we are using the notebook. Actually, one of my colleague told like they are using the, Google BigQuery something. So for that, for every 24 hours, that storage password will get expired. So that they are using some kind of Python script to rotate the key. So is it the same kind of
No, 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 no.
uh,
What is 24 hours? 20, no. What is the 24 hours you mentioned?
every 24 hours that storage password will get expired, so he rotate the key
No,
through
no,
some script. So is it kind of
no,
scenario
no,
did
no.
you experience?
Maybe, no, 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 no. This is not that kind of thing. See, generally, when you have APIs, API keys will be there. When you are interacting
Okay.
with the APIs, generally, first when you generate a API key, that will be available for 1 or 2 hours, and you can pull the data. And the second time when you are querying again, you need to generate a new API key. So that API key, if you want to securely store, maybe they are using some other process, but that is a scenario where you will have to rotate the key continuously. But storage keys and all, we never going to rotate that much frequently. That is completely wrong assumption. I don't know. Maybe one thing might happen is use case is different and what you understood is might be different,
Okay,
because
okay.
I have seen many cases and that is very like normal general thinking, right? So if you are keep on rotating the key, there is no use. So daily you are also saying it is not even monthly, or you are saying every day. That is not going
Yeah,
to happen.
every yeah.
Next, any other questions, Tim? Are we all good?
Yes.
No question. Yeah, so I'm stopping today here. That's all, because we can't discuss anything in very short time. So this is enough for today. Okay. Okay then. Thank you all. If no questions, thank you.